Well, back home, farmers are already feeling the effects of the fertilizer shortage. Joining me to discuss, Chief Executive of the Chamber of Fertilizer, Ghana, Prince Adepa. Good to have you on the program this afternoon. What is the state of supply of fertilizer here in the country at the moment?
Thank you very much. I think it's quite a difficult situation. We actually struggling, and we've not actually been able to have our hands on it.
Explain further what the struggle is. We know there's a war that has impacted supply from Ukraine. Is that all?
Yes, that is the external factors that one can talk about. But beyond that, we feel internally we have issues as well with regards to the handling of fertilizer. And generally our agricultural policies, how it impacts generally the food production as we know it.
And so what are the issues? What are the issues beyond Ukraine?
So beyond Ukraine are the issues of debt owed by government for the past 2 years. That it's actually becoming a setback for importers of fertilizer products to be able to make very necessary arrangements. As at last year, we came out as a chamber, to need pre-warn government of the likelihood of this fertilizer prices escalating to what it is now. It's always been worsened by the war between Russia and Ukraine. So generally, these are supposed to be the external factors, but then internally, we haven't done much to be able to avert the impact as it is today.
And we are told that government owes the chamber 400 million cedis. For how long has that debt been on your books, and how is that impacting on your operations?
Yes, for the past 2 years, government have been making some efforts to pay, but then the timeliness is an issue, and for the fact that it's been on our books for the past 2 years, goes to affect all the arrangements that were supposed to have made from last year. Because usually you make projections and you make orders and prepare against the coming season. That's like the season we're currently in. So with this issue of owed amounts, it actually disturbed the arrangements that we had with suppliers. That has really resulted in the shortage of fertilizer on the market.
Okay, and is there any indication that a government will pay soon? What sort of responses are you getting from government?
Yeah, government keeps promising to pay off, but then we don't have a specific timeline as to like you pay in the next 2 or 1 month time to enable us plan around this payment.
And what are the implications for Ghana's food security? We heard the UN chief talk about what's happening in Ukraine and how it's going to affect food prices and the supply of food globally. And we are having that situation already, feeling the impact. The farmers are complaining about it. What would be the implications in the coming months if the farmers don't get enough fertilizer?
Yes, we actually run the risk of having experiencing farming, because what it does is if the farmer doesn't get enough in the right dosage for their production, obviously they're not expected to get the yields as they expect. And because of this scarcity and also the high cost of the fertilizer, farmers have not been able to produce as they used to, and therefore the high tendency of us not getting the yields and even the targets as we project for the country, and therefore we run the risk of having food shortages, and but it's quite dire for us if we don't mitigate whatever locally these challenges.
And that's something that beats me. Would it be far-fetched to produce fertilizer locally?
It's a possibility, but then it doesn't look like it can be in the short or medium term. It's supposed to be a long-term project, which has to come from all stakeholders, government, investors, and all that, because it's a very capital-intensive project. And so the easiest we can do or can have our hands around is the organic production of fertilizer, which usually which we usually get through our waste and all materials, organic waste materials that are all over around us. And so there are some companies in the country currently that are doing very well with this production, but then it's not up to the volumes that can kind of close the gap we're having with the shortage of the chemical fertilizers.
My final question, what sort of support does the chamber need right now?
Basically, I think the chamber needs government to actually sit, and then we discuss those challenges beyond it being, an issue of government. So all stakeholders are supposed to come together round table to discuss the difficulties and the way out. And also we expect government to look at the charges, the fees at the port for the few companies that are able to bring this product in. And so the cost of this fertilizers on the market can at least be reduced as much as it can be. So at least it becomes available and affordable to the farmers to be able to use for their farming activities.
All right, thank you so much, Prince Adepa, CEO of the Chamber of Fertilizer Ghana, for speaking with us this afternoon. And as it indicates, we risk famine if we do not do something about our fertilizer supply challenge. We'll be speaking to you subsequently as we continue to monitor the situation with food.